So at the end of that last video, we saw our first big kind of, 3-on-4 nation war, and I think we're going to see more and more of that as the world gets smaller and smaller due to all the colonization that's taking place. Also, can we take a look at how cool Polynesia is looking right now? I mean, this is a very kind of, I don't know, awesome orange color that's going over Australia. Eventually, it'll probably go after New Zealand, or go over New Zealand. Again, Polynesia looks like they're like really big and powerful, but keep in mind a lot of this stuff is wasteland. But they're going to go after a few more of these southern Australian provinces, go after Tasmania. I think that's when they might set their sights to New Zealand. We will see. I don't know. I mean, that Polynesian-Indonesian war is definitely going to start to heat up soon. So right now, the Netherlands are actually at -16 war score. Actually, that actually makes a lot of sense because Sweden got locked to Swedish lands. England doesn't want to contribute much. They might try to eliminate a few of the navies. Actually, England and the Netherlands together would be able to dominate this Danish fleet, but Denmark isn't allowing to get to the North Sea. Sweden is actually doing their own thing. Maybe Sweden just doesn't care, or Sweden's going around. Who is this? Germany. Oh my gosh. Sweden went around. But they don't have much around. Sweden doesn't have a very big army, do they? Or maybe they lost a few battles and they lost quite a few men. I don't know. Yeah, but right now, I mean, seems to be somewhat of a stalemate, kind of. I mean, it's a big war that's going on. A very big war that's going on. -33. So you're saying that Denmark, France, and Poland are fighting these four forces by themselves. That's kind of incredible. That's very strange. I didn't realize that all of Scandinavia is allied to each other. Are they? For the most, I mean, they're all at war. We can't really tell if it's all blue or not. They could have been called in by a mutual friend or something like that. The Celts are about to form their colony here in Canada, so I'm guessing it'll be Canada or New Celtic Lands or something like that. New Celtic Land, maybe something like that. That would be kind of cool. Ethiopia starting to colonize. Good for you, buddy. Very good for you. We had a really big Russian war that took place. The Russians just went after the Huns really quick. Went after Attila, took a good chunk of his lands, and that was it. And that was smart of Catherine. Very, very smart of Catherine, because she's asserted her dominance. I think Sweden is going to be too distracted with all the politics of Europe to be focused on the Eastern colonization. So yeah, I think we will see a powerful Russia. A powerful Russia to take on a very powerful China in the East. But it definitely depends on a few factors still. Let's see here. The Netherlands now at -30 war score. We've got China at war with Korea again. And again, they are going to dominate this. I think Japan's going to probably, if they don't have a truce, Japan will probably go after Korea. Yeah, Japan doesn't have the truce anymore. So let's see what the Chinese take from Korea. I imagine quite a bit. China really, really starting to dominate as they eliminated Mongolia, and they're probably getting closer and closer to eliminating Korea. Japan will probably join in soon. Eastern Asia needs Japan to be more powerful. Eastern Asia also needs some colonization from some outside powers like the Europeans, maybe even some Africans like the Zulu. Siam needs to, get their stuff together. Indonesia, Polynesia might be able to do the same thing too, though. Polynesia might be able to make a difference. Who is this? Oh, Syria. I thought it was going to be Polynesia. I was like, oh my goodness, that is insane. That is crazy. North Africa's not doing so well. As you can see, Carthage and Morocco not having a very fun time. Songhai might be very powerful. They were powerful in the previous campaign just because they don't really have to worry much about anything. Morocco, is constantly under threat from the Europeans. Songhai's isolated. They have trouble, though, with initial colonization, which is the bane of a lot of these, new worlds, outside of Europe countries. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to be. It all depends. Look at China. China's looking good. China's looking really good. They're now connecting their borders. They control the Korean Peninsula. Persia, are you continuing to move east, Persia? I believe so. And by the way, we'll probably look over the ledger in the next video. I think I'll wait to the next video. Oh, there's a big war that just went on. Assyria versus Venice. So let me guess. Yep. The Venetians did not call the war again. Venice is just helping out a friend. Venice is going to give up all their lands to the Assyrians. All the occupations will be going to the Assyrians. Wow. Yeah, so again, Venice is just helping their friends out. Assyria grabbing even more strength. They could have grabbed a lot more than that. I'm surprised they didn't take more. What is this? Greek pretender rebels. And Venice still has all their friends? They do. So maybe the benefit is not Venice. It's actually all the other people that are allied to Venice. They're the ones that are getting the most out of this. How is Assyria and Byzantium still okay? Ooh, it's getting worse. Neighboring tolerated heretic. And then we have an enemy of an enemy. Oh, you guys both don't like Greece. That is the only reason why I'm thinking. And the Ottomans are about to be locked off soon. They could always colonize across the Caspian Sea, but I don't know if they're gonna do that. They'll have the time to do it unless Persia moves up to the north, which would be smart for Persia. Persia should stay away from the Indian border. That will definitely not go so well. What is this? So this has become entirely the British West Indies. So what's their liberty desire at? It's already at 27.5. We could see the first independent nation by, the 16th century, which would be crazy. Have the Celts formed a colony just yet? Nope, this is still taking lots of time. I don't know if this would form a colony or not. It might. Ooh, the Iroquois are moving closer and closer to the Celts, though. Yeah, that will not be a very powerful colony at all. I can't see it lasting. I'm just so surprised that America and the Iroquois have never gone to war. That's really shocking. So now we've got Byzantium going after the Huns and the Ottomans. We have the Austrians going after Germany and Russia. Germany and Russia. You got an alliance with Russia? Wow. Okay, so yeah, Denmark took away quite a bit of land from the Germans, but that was it. I don't think... Yep, the Netherlands lost land to France. The French have kept their province, their foothold in the British Isles, which is actually going to be a pretty big component. If the French ever want to make an offensive war against England, they could land here, and that would make a huge difference. Massive difference. What's the supply limit, though? It's 30, but that would still be tough for England. And who else was involved in that alliance? Sweden. Poland also took away land from Germany. Ah, okay. So yeah, the French, the Polish, and the Danish really they were very effective in that war. They all grabbed land. They all used that to their advantage. That's shocking. And now we have the Austrians going after Germany. Russia probably won't be able to contribute much unless they move through this uncolonized territory, which they could if they really wanted to. Something to keep in mind, though, is even more than before, because development is part of the game and stuff like that, some of these smaller nations that don't look like they have, big font size and stuff like that, what we traditionally look at, they could still be really powerful. Look at India. India is not that big at all, but if you zoom in, they've got like almost 100,000 troops, which is crazy. I guarantee you, yeah, China only has it looks like they have 70,000 troops. So something to keep that in mind. It's very important. And I'm not talking about province sizes, their actual physical sizes. I'm talking about development. And some AIs maybe tending to build up their provinces and the manpower and stuff like that rather than being this, big powerful nation. So Germany could end up being a threat. Look, Russia actually did they did move through these uncolonized territory, pushing back Austria. Surprisingly, actually Austria won that one battle. Well, Austria desperately needs this, so I think that Germany is over almost no matter what. How's the Byzantium Empire doing against the Huns? Looks like they're doing okay. They probably will. I'm thinking they'll take a few things. Oh, they also might take a few things from the Ottomans. So yeah, all this stuff needs to keep. We haven't talked about it a lot because the other campaign, it was more important to think about which nation was getting cut off and stuff like that. Now, not so much. In previous series, we only did the middle part of the world. We did Europe, and then Persia was the furthest east, and that was it. No New World, stuff like that. So we had to really take into account which nations were being landlocked and which nations weren't going to be able to colonize anymore. So for instance, Assyria. Assyria might be locked here, even though they're really powerful. It doesn't really matter, though, because Persia at a certain point will be locked, too, by either India or China. So, I guess the same thing goes for Venice. I made an argument against Venice, saying that maybe they won't be as powerful in the late game because they're going to be landlocked. But most of the world's going to be landlocked, actually. It's actually going to be the new worlds, I'm guessing the civs that are laying outside of all this kind of clustered region that could eventually bring the power to some of the other nations, some of the other initial powerful nations from the start of the series. So now we have Venice versus Austria. Sorry, Austria. It's over now. It is totally over. You were winning your war against Germany, though. That was good. Jeez, you got Poland. You have to fight Poland, Spain, and Venice. Oh my gosh. Venice not giving up these occupations, though. They want this for themselves. But Poland wants a little bit. So Venice wants these occupations for themselves against Austria. Poland wants a little bit of northern Austria, though. So they're going to lose all this stuff. I don't know what's going to happen to Austria, though. It's going to be scary for that region. China, now for their first war with Japan. And it is for that island. Jeju, I'm guessing. Yeah, so that island, I figured that was going to happen. Indonesia, of all the civs. Oh, Babylon also colonizing. Wow, that's shocking too. I was not expecting Indonesia to be the one to colonize that region. I guess Polynesia could do the same thing. I thought it'd be Japan. I think Japan might be a little bit reluctant, though, to grab provinces off of the Asian mainland. They've got to be. Oh, China! How did you allow that, Japan? How did you allow China to? There's no way. Well, maybe their fleet might have gotten stronger. I think I'm underestimating that. I think the Chinese fleet has gotten stronger. Let's go ahead and check that. That's kind of important to check on. Since they grabbed the entire Korean peninsula, yeah, so it's close, and Japan probably wasn't in the right place at the right time, so China was able to sneak a few troops, all their troops, I guess I should say, on the Japanese mainland. This is what's going to be entertaining. I can't wait to see the kind of naval sizes throughout the campaign. So number 1 still is Venice. Denmark actually pretty high up there. Byzantium. China catching up because they control the Korean peninsula now. Yeah, this is going to be bad. If the Japanese lose a lot here, this is going to be very bad. But the colonization still is going to go down to the south. The Chinese will have to worry about the Russians to their west. Maybe even Byzantium. Byzantium took quite a bit from the Huns. But they are still alive. The Russians need to continue out towards the east. Because Sweden is only really going towards the east. So that's making things tough. Yep, Venice took all this stuff for themselves. So there seems to slowly start to be, some powers forming. Venice being one, China being the other. It seems like those two are, starting to really kind of flex their muscles here, show off their power. Venice and China, there they are. France not too far behind though. And then we have Russia, which Russia will get more strength. I don't know what Byzantium will do. And India will certainly catch up. India will for sure catch up. Problem with the Europeans is they're going to form colonies and they're going to eventually lose these colonies. There it is, Celtic Canada. That's so cool. Celtic Canada. I love it. No one else in Latin America, which is surprising. Surprised that Morocco didn't get over there. Assyrians going after the Arabian Peninsula. And, who's at war with Egypt? Is it Arabia again? It is. Smart choice there, I would say. Yeah, so Arabia at 37 war score with Egypt. So, Arabia might be making the greatest comeback of all time. Portugal at war with Carthage. Spain at war with Morocco. Wow, so both the Iberian nations facing... Wait a second. Did the war just peace out? Did you guys just peace out? You did. Oh, and you just kind of connected northern Carthage. And then we've got Spain calling in Venice, going after Morocco. So the Venetians and their allies only growing more and more in their strength. All of them have been making significant gains, which is crazy. That's insane that Southern Europe is this powerful, and they're all working together. France, who might be one of the only nations eventually to kind of stand up to Venice and their friends, doesn't really have the best of allies. just Denmark. That's that. They need something more than that. Maybe a Russian alliance would be good. Russia only allied to Germany, which is going to get them into some dumb wars, which might distract them from their colonization, which is ultimately what they need to do. Russia needs to colonize. Even if... Oh, and Arabia did grab everything back, and they are back in controlling the Arabian Peninsula. They will probably dominate this region as for now, but who knows for how long, as the Assyrians grow more and more in strength too, as well as in the Persians. So there's so much going on. I think the Middle East seems to be a very interesting region, though. I really like what's going on in the Middle East. It seems a little bit more simpler to follow, which I kind of like. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Europe is simple. It's getting simpler. There's just a lot of nations in this very small location. So that's the only thing. And everywhere else, there's just not much going on. Everywhere else, I guess. Syria going after the Horn of Africa, cutting off Ethiopia. The Zulu still very slow with their colonization. Oh, we have a lot of nations now going after India. A lot of strange colonization. Assyria and Babylon. Yeah, so the weird colonization is about to take place. China did grab Japanese mainland. Ooh, this is not good. This is not good. China is strong, yo. China is going to be real strong. Maybe having the biggest navy in the world at some point, eventually too. Oh, the Aztecs are dead. The Aztecs are dead. Spain's going to take some stuff away from Morocco, I believe. I'm surprised at the amount of nations that have been destroyed so far. I really was not expecting that. I didn't think we'd see this many countries fall. Especially this late in the game. It's still 1540. I mean, it's getting late. I mean, it's 100 years into the start. It's like, wow. I mean, it's kind of shocking. What is this? Oh, separatists. Or no, rebels, I should say. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end it a little bit early. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.